Welcome back to Travis Laughs. As you can see, we've had a little development in the weather. No, the special effects guys did not blow the entire annual budget on this one episode. That's real snow. Which leaves me in a position of making the tough choice. Do I put my winter tires on my car now, ensuring another 6 or 8 weeks of warm weather and dry pavement to just eat hundreds of dollars of value off of my Blizzax? Or do I leave the tires behind the workshop for a few more weeks, thereby ensuring that before the end of this month, we're going to have a record-breaking snowfall? It's going to slide off the roof, bury the tires, and then freeze solid, so that even King Arthur of England wouldn't be able to reach in and pull a tire out. Either way, the result's the same. I'm going to end up in line at the tire shop while the guy behind me with horrible breath and a bad sense of personal space is going to talk nonstop. Yeah, my first ex-wife used to hate it when I got the tires changed on the car because she's like, they're going to stand all my stuff. You know how women are. I can't stand it. I find that personality so tiresome, I would just want to get out of line and put it off till later. But if I do that, in the next day or two, I'll hit a slippery stretch of road and bam, slam right into somebody. And while we're waiting for the police or the ambulance or whatever, who do I get to talk to? I can't believe it was you that slid into me. My second wife used to always say, when you drive on these streets here in Anchorage. And I know what you're thinking. Travis, you look like somebody who used to be a man. Can't you change your own tires? Yes, I can, and I have. And I stopped doing it. Do you remember in the last episode I was talking about the difficulty of pulling on the push door and pushing on the pull door? I also have a little bit of trouble from time to time with that whole righty-tighty, lefty-loosey thing. And that's why I'm a member of what I'm hoping is a pretty small club of men who have snapped off the wheel stud on their wife's car while trying to loosen the lug nut. That was a pretty expensive mistake. Now, I'm perfectly capable of replacing a wheel stud. You just have to take the rest of the lug nuts off in the right direction, remove the caliper and the rotor, back the stud out, put a new one in, tighten it up, etc. You're good to go. But I never even suggested that to my wife because of that old, I think it's an Armenian proverb that says, ask not to remove the caliper of she whose wheel stud you've broken, something like that. You can apply that in all aspects of your life. Travis, what about your masculine ego? Oh yeah, I remember that. That was kind of fun sometimes. No, that ship has long since sailed. How long ago? Well, if it was a literal ship instead of a metaphorical ship, it would have arrived at its destination, been completely relieved of its cargo, maybe put in dry dock for a few years before a junk dealer bought it at a very reasonable price, disassembled it, and the lumber and parts from the ship were used to build a factory that specialized in creating alternate and renewable energy components and did very well. So well, in fact, that that city became a nation state and became exemplary around the world. And then, because of corruption and infighting, it disassembled, and now it's just a cautionary memory and a very complicated analogy for my masculine ego. But Travis, what happened to your masculine ego? Two things about this story I'm about to tell you. One, it's completely true. I did not embellish or exaggerate it at all. Two, this sort of thing has happened to me so often. Earlier this week, I took a bottle of vitamin supplements back to the store to return it. The guy at the store, younger than me, smaller than me, said, "Why do you want to return them?" And I said, "Because I couldn't get the lid off." In perfect accordance with the guy code, he looked away from me and in a calm, quiet voice said, "Would you like to return them or would you like me to open them for you?" In my life, I have taken a full 55-gallon drum of fuel and lifted it over the side of an 18-foot wooden boat by myself. I have built a log cabin single-handedly by carrying the logs out of the woods on my shoulder. I used to have a job where I routinely moved 50,000 pounds of cargo by hand at every shift. So I smiled and said, "If you could open it for me, that'd be a real kindness." And that guy just opened the top and handed it to me, saying something about cross threads. Shut up. All right. I said, thank you very much, and I left the store. And you know what? It didn't even really hurt that bad. Masculine ego is pretty much gone. But Travis, don't you miss it? Actually, it was kind of a pain in the ass. But there's ways to get it back. I mean, a lot of my life choices have limited access to those things, but I can still go out to the shooting range and fire off a couple rounds. That always wakes it up a little bit. But I had an epiphany the other day. I was looking at this bullet sitting on top of my gun safe, and okay, gun owners, I'm about to tease you a little bit. Remember, I am one of you. Also, these are just jokes. This is just jokes. There's no hard feelings involved here. And this is important to clarify because, and I don't know if you guys knew this or not, and this is not a partisan idea. This is a scientific fact. Gun owners are some of the most well-armed citizens in this country. So the epiphany that occurred to me while I was looking at this bullet on my gun safe is, you know, bullets look an awful lot like suppositories. And a suppository is like this medical thing. It's a bioaccessible item that's shaped, well, like a bullet, and you push it up inside your butt so that it can disperse medicine and stuff. How do you know? How do I? Look, I don't want to be the kind of comedian that browbeats or berates their audience, but you guys ask a lot of fucking questions for people that aren't even really here. No more interruptions. So I was thinking, maybe what we have as a nation isn't so much a gun obsession or a violence problem. Maybe we just have a huge group of people who are a well-disguised fetish group. They like putting things up their butts. It kind of makes sense if a bullet's shaped like a suppository. That's just stupid. And besides, the joke's on you. Bullets might be shaped like suppositories, but I use hollow points. Oh yeah, those really popular reservoir tips. But really, what does everybody do when they get into guns? They start with a small caliber and then they want bigger, bigger, bigger. You're a bunch of size queens, aren't you? Shut up! We like bigger caliber because there's more penetration. You go to hell! Come on, I'm just playing around, for real. But doesn't it kind of make sense? I mean, look at all the ammunition and guns that are sold, but how few people actually show up and practice at the range? It's just a cover, I'm pretty sure. You shut up or I'll bust a cap in your ass. I appreciate your friendly offer, but I'm not into that myself, but you do whatever works for you. No, I mean, your jokes are making me so mad, I'm gonna kill you. Okay, so you came here and listened to jokes and lost complete control of yourself, and now you're saying that you're going to kill me with a weapon ipso facto brandishing? I just want to say thank you very much for taking our voluntary online background check. Somebody will be in touch with you shortly. Wouldn't that be awful if all of these dumb quizzes and click here if you and everything online is all being compiled in some legal case that is actionable, and suddenly we find ourselves thrown into a jail cell because of what we did online? Oh yeah, I wonder who your cellmate would be. I asked you to not... Well, look who it is. My third wife isn't going to believe this coincidence. Have I told you? That was really silly. See you guys next time. Boom, 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 boom.